Welcome to the Vintage Hollywood Archive. You can call her the Lion Queen, the Tiger Lady, or the Brave Animal Lover. Tippi Hedren's story is an exceptional one. From not too palatable a tale with her studio boss to a life of extreme exposure to wildlife that was almost a step away from death, this unique lady remained symbolic in history as a peculiar Hollywood talent, especially for her love for animals. Make sure to watch the video until the end, and if you're new here, don't forget to join our wonderful community by subscribing to the Vintage Hollywood Archive channel. The first time I heard about Tippi Hedren and her thrilling association with the king of the wild, the big cats, I was asking a friend if it was real or just a movie. Then I realized that was both a movie and reality. Her personality is still remembered today for those courageous exploits. Tippi Hedren's passion for the lion family led to bringing a 400-pound pet lion named Neil to her private residence that she shared with her teenage daughter Melanie Griffith. I rather call it an incident that took place while she was preparing to shoot a movie described as the most dangerous production in history. I still cannot come to terms with the fact that it happened. Tippi Hedren, best known as Alfred Hitchcock's sensation and famous for her role in the Birds movie, was said to have assembled a collection of dangerous wild animals because of her love for the creatures. This seems to be the extreme case of having and caring for a pet. The last time I checked, the data showed she had bizarre 150 very big cats, some of which she had positioned for roar production. How dangerous was this movie production that it was affirmed as the riskiest production in history? It was reported that about 70 participants in the production, including the cast and crew members, sustained varying degrees of injuries from a horrific animal assault that saw the cameraman scalped by a tiger. Herndon was not left out as her leg was crushed by an elephant and was infected with the disease. But more worrisome was the news that Herndon's teenage daughter, Melanie, had to forego her role in the movie because one of her eyes was almost punctured by a lion attack, which resulted in a far-reaching facial reconstructive procedure. Her husband, Noel Marshall, who happens to be the scriptwriter, director, and a cast of the movie, was not spared either, because he was rushed to a nearby hospital following a fatal injury from a tiger chew in one hand, which remanded him for weeks. The beautiful blonde with her fascinating show for Alfred Hitchcock's movie in 1963 was set for fame in all ramifications, but for an unhealthy relationship that existed between her and her employer. In what has been described as her greatest undoing, Tippi unfortunately had fizzled out from the entertainment scene after 2 shocking movie productions. Described as an icy cool blonde, Hedren's issue with Hitchcock was complicated in many ways, as she later hinted. Before the production of the Birds movie, there was no way she could have known that she would be acting with real destroyer birds. While she was enthusiastic about the production, it became a rude shock to find herself with live birds. Perhaps she thought that she would be working with the motorized birds that crew members said were not functional, with accusing fingers pointing at Hitchcock himself, who may have originally planned the production with live birds. Soon, Hedren was performing her scene with the birds unfortunately flung directly at her, even as some of the birds were said to have been slackly fastened to her costume. Oh, really? As some suggested, the birds did what they were told to do by attacking, clawing, and pecking Tippi Hedren in what she later said was a disturbing experience. Narrating the nightmare, Tippi said she had barely heard the directing word action from Hitchcock with the signal on when the crew started throwing live birds at her. It was brutal and ugly, she stated. She stated that she had some wounds doing the scene, including a dangerous scratch close to her eye caused by the beak of one of the birds. Quite a fascinating journey with animals. Though Hedren had expressed remorse about her love for the beast and how it did expose her family, especially her daughter, to danger, she said that it affected her relationship with her, stating also that she had thought that Melanie felt she dedicated so much energy to the big cats that none was available for her. Though her decision to have a pet lion in their Beverly Hills apartment as a way of studying the animal was ill-advised, it became a kind of lifelong inspiration for her. Recall that she became a media sensation with an image of Neil, the lion, dangerously resting in her closet, appearing as a famous Life magazine photo spread. She was said to have described it as simply stupid beyond belief. That is exactly what it seems to me, because it is unimaginable. Good enough. Hedren, after bringing the big cat to the chart, realized on time to stay a distance from the king of the forest, as she now dedicates her life to organizing the Shambhala Animal Preserve in Action, which is located north of Los Angeles. The center contains an assortment of outlandish pets, including the ones used in movies. Interestingly, also, she is now pushing for strict laws prohibiting private ownership of the big cats. Her story shows that a lot of people had over time exposed themselves to unnecessary dangers of this magnitude because of the horrendous attraction of owning a wild animal. Tippi Hedren's thought-provoking romance with lions was said to have been ignited sometime in 1969, while she was doing a movie in a certain African country. This, for many, is where she got the inspiration to venture into the seemingly catastrophic adventure film, having visited a wildlife game reserve in that espionage. Being a passionate lover of kittens, she was hoping to groom her breed of lion cubs so she could make her movie dream come to pass. That was how it all began for the silver screen legend. Though the idea may have come from Hedren, her ambitious husband at the time, Noel Marshall thinks the movie will bring him to the front burner as he became preoccupied with the idea of producing Roar, not minding several warnings from animal specialists against it because of potential life threat. He was determined to see it happen, and having an adventurous wife like Hedren, the stage was set for what is now history. Soon Marshall would learn that it was practically impossible to bring together the lion cast with strange cats. The family then grew about 50 homegrown lions, so they could do it all alone with their animals. It was at this period of rearing these creatures that the famous Neil of a Lion was asked to join the Marshall family in 1971. From then on, several photos emerged showing Tippi with her big cats roaming around their home. The movie itself consumed a whopping sum of $17 million to produce and took the entire crew 5 interrupted years to complete, because of the difficulties created by animals who, of course, were not hoping to win an Oscar for themselves because they were simply animals and dangerous ones in that matter. Whether for good or bad, such production is bound to cause issues, and so it was not surprising when it was reported to have also ruined Hedren's relationship with her husband. Then with the ultimate lesson that wild animals remained what they are, they're not suitable for our living environment, talk less of having one as a pet. Tippi Hedren, a popular fashion model who became a familiar face on the front cover of leading celebrity magazines, was born in New Ulm, Minnesota, as Natalie K. Hedren in 1930 to her parents Bernard Carl and Dorothy Henrietta. Her birth date may have been erroneously misrepresented within her career, with some stating 1935. Her parental lineage may have also been traced to Swedish immigrants, while her mother is of German and Norwegian ancestry. Unlike most famous movie stars whose name was changed by someone other than their parents, she was given the pet name Tippi by her father at the age of 4. As a teenager, Tippi looked so charming with her remarkable blonde. She got involved in department store fashion shows while still studying as a high school student before the family moved down to California. At 14, on her way from school, a lady had accosted her and produced an invitation card requesting that her mother should bring her to the Donaldson department store. "I'd like you to model for our Saturday morning fashion show," Tippi was told. From that moment on, Tippi once reflected, "I never needed a job I didn't want to do." Her remarkable beauty did not go unnoticed in California, as she got the attention of industry experts who did not hesitate to fix her in her modeling career. Her presence in California was boosted to this classic young beauty who had even better modeling opportunities and subsequently progressed deeper in the entertainment industry. At the time, she was more focused on modeling until the acting opportunity smiled at her. It was the famous director Alfred Hitchcock who was smitten by the young beauty after watching her TV commercial in 1961 and decided to cast her. But before then, she had a bit part in the movie The Pretty Girl, while learning art at Pasadena City College before relocating to New York, and still with her stunning appearance, soon became a known face in lots of fashion magazines. Her role in the thriller The Birds and the emotional drama Marnie in 1964 gave her a Golden Globe Award for New Star of the Year. Though she did not grow as much as she was projected by her fans due to circumstances beyond her control, appearing in several films and television shows guaranteed her brilliant contributions to world cinema. Hence was given a star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame. Tippi had married 3 times, first to Peter Griffith, who turned into an advertising executive after his Broadway dreams perished following a lack of opportunity for appearances. The two met while Hedren was doing a bit in New York City in 1951. She was 21 at the time while Griffith was 17, so they had to wait until the 24th of October 1951, a day after he became an adult, to get their marriage permit in New York and was officially married in 1952. And so, while Tippi's career grew, her husband's ambitions in the entertainment industry fizzled out. The union, however, produced a daughter, Melanie Griffin, before they separated. Hedren would return to Los Angeles with her daughter and be said to have dated comic character Mort Saul before marrying her second husband. By 1964, Hedren took a marital oath with her agent, Noel Marshall, who became the producer of 3 of her movies, including the controversial Roar, The Heron Experiment, and Mr. Kingstreet's War readily come to mind. It was at this time that Tippi was battling with Hitchcock, who practically wanted to ruin her career, at least so it seemed, not with all the uncanny reports about her disconnected relationship. Noel Marshall, who already had 3 sons, was now living with Tippi and her daughter Melanie. Their union continued for 18 years before the two fell out of the contest and separated their fruitful relationship. It was not clear what may have transpired, but after the divorce, there was an injunction restraining Marshall from approaching within 20 feet of her. Talking about how she made her career moves, Tippi said she was aware of better modeling opportunity in New York at the time, so she put a call to Eileen Ford, who owned Ford Modeling Agency, and was invited to come to the Big Apple. She said she had to save up the fee for the journey and took the long-distance train and later lodged for 3 days in the strangely named Barbizon Hotel for Women. Soon she was put to action by Ford, who apart from modeling used her for television commercials. It was one of the adverts, which was being aired during the Today Show, that Hitchcock saw her. He subsequently put a call to the appropriate office requesting her modeling agency and asked for the girl. Her agency obediently hurried over to Universal's office and met who is who in the office. Though Tippi was not informed of the going-on, she later learned that they hard-pressed her agent to sign a contract. And so, when she finally arrived to meet with Alfred Hitchcock, he had a big smile on his face, because she was contracted even before she met him. She said that it was one of the usual studio lavish parties at Jason's restaurant for High and Mighty in Hollywood that she was given the Birds role by Hitchcock through a beautifully enveloped package. "I want you to play Melanie Daniel in The Birds," she recalled his words. She added that before the scene for the Final Attack filming, they said to her that the mechanical birds would be used only for them to throw live birds at her in one of the shocking moments of the movie, leading to several avoidable injuries. Tippi had to go through such a moment of bravery. Film legend Cary Grant, who was present at the time of the shooting, did not mince words when he referred to her as the bravest actress I've ever met. That may just be the beginning of a sour relationship with Hitchcock, who was said to have insulted her that she was not capable of providing for her aged mother and her daughter without him. After waiting for ages to free herself from his contract clutches, Tippi went on to start a new career life with Charlie Chaplin. She funnily told interviewers that she heard he almost died when he got to know that she was involved with Charlie. Tippi later married Louis Baronecchia. When the union went sour, she described him as everything I wanted in a man, but for his heavy drinking, she said, was unbearable. The duo divorced in 1992, and Tippi was quoted to have said, "It's been 3, I'm out," referring to her failed marriages. She hinted that marriage is an individual choice and that it was not working for her because she is an independent personality. She added that she had had people come to her for marriage afterwards, but in her words, "I can't see myself getting married at this point." Hollywood stars often have strange fads. Why did Claudette Colbert bathe in spoiled milk? Watch this video and find out.